My friends, the first law of transformation is the law of definite purpose. Nothing in this world is achieved without it. A man without purpose is like a ship without a rudder, drifting on the sea of life, tossed by every wind, pulled by every current, at the mercy of circumstances and chance. But the man who has a clear, burning purpose becomes a force of nature. He does not wait for the waves to carry him. He sets his own course, and life itself begins to obey him. The truth is this: vague wishes produce vague results. How many people say at the start of every new year, I want to be happier, I want to be healthier, I want to be richer? And how many of them end the year no better, sometimes worse than they began? Why? Because life does not reward wishes, it rewards decisions. The man who writes down in clear words exactly what he desires, who knows the price he must pay and the time in which he must achieve it, that man has laid the foundation of greatness. Take a pen in your hand, not tomorrow, but today. Write exactly what you demand of yourself in 2026. Be specific. If your aim is wealth, state the exact amount. If your goal is health, describe it in detail. The weight you will reach, the strength you will build, the energy you will carry. If your desire is freedom, define what freedom means to you. Do not be vague, for the mind cannot chase shadows, it must chase images. The clearer the image, the more powerful the pull. Once you have defined it, you must commit to it with all your heart. Too many people leave themselves an escape route, a back door, a comfortable excuse for when the road grows difficult. They say, if this does not work, I can always go back. But here lies the secret. As long as retreat remains an option, defeat will remain a possibility. You must burn the bridges of retreat. Tell yourself, this is my path, and there is no turning back, just as generals of old burned their ships so that their soldiers had no choice but victory, so must you remove every thought of escape. When the mind has no option but to succeed, it finds the strength to create success. Understand this: the moment you define your purpose and refuse retreat, you awaken forces within yourself that have been asleep. You begin to notice opportunities that were invisible before. Ideas flash into your mind. People appear who can help you. Circumstances arrange themselves in your favor. This is not magic, it is law. The human mind, when focused on a definite purpose, begins to attract and create the very means of its fulfillment. Consider the difference between sunlight and a laser beam. Sunlight spreads in all directions and warms whatever it touches, but a laser, though made of the same light, when concentrated, can cut through steel. Your energy is like sunlight when you live without purpose. Warm perhaps, but scattered, wasted, easily ignored. But when you focus it into a single definite aim, it becomes a laser that nothing can resist. Do not think that greatness belongs only to those born with privilege or talent. Greatness belongs to the one who dares to decide. Look at history. Every leader, every inventor, every builder of empires began with a single clear purpose that consumed him until it was achieved. Without that, his talent would have been wasted. With it, even his weaknesses became strengths. So I ask you, what is your definite purpose for 2026? Will you drift another year, repeating the same cycle of hopes and regrets? Or will you rise with decision and declare, this is what I will achieve, and nothing will turn me back? Do not wait for the perfect plan. Do not wait for the perfect time. Begin now. Right, believe it. Read it every morning and every night until it becomes a burning obsession. Let it drive your thoughts, your words, your actions. When obstacles come, and they will, let your purpose remind you why you cannot quit. When doubt whispers, let your purpose shout louder. Purpose is the seed from which all other achievements grow. It is the foundation upon which discipline, persistence, relationships, and faith are built. Without it, the other laws are powerless. With it, they come alive. Make 2026 the year you live not by accident, but by design. Decide who you will become, what you will achieve, and what price you are willing to pay. Fix it in your heart, fix it in your mind, and fix it on paper. Then burn the bridges of retreat and march forward with certainty. Life will resist you at first, but it will eventually bow before the man who refuses to bow before defeat. The law of definite purpose is not a suggestion. It is a command. Obey it, and 2026 will be the year you no longer drift. You will rise, you will conquer, and you will transform your destiny forever. My friends, if definite purpose is the starting point of transformation, then mastery of the mind is the power that sustains it. You may have a clear vision, you may write your goals on paper, you may even burn the bridges of retreat, but if your mind is weak, filled with fear, poisoned with doubt, and clouded with negative emotions, you will never rise beyond the level of your thoughts. The mind is the workshop of destiny. Everything you are, everything you have, and everything you will ever become is first created as a thought within you. Master your thoughts, and you master your world. Leave them undisciplined, and they will betray you at the very moment you need them most. Every triumph and every tragedy of human life can be traced to the mind. It is the mind that invents cures, builds cities, and lifts men to greatness. It is also the mind that enslaves with fear, breeds envy, and chains men to mediocrity. What you allow to dominate your thoughts will soon dominate your actions, and your actions will shape your destiny. The law is simple. Your life becomes the mirror of your most frequent thoughts. How many men and women sabotage themselves not because of lack of talent, but because they entertain the wrong thoughts? They wake up and let fear whisper, "You cannot." They listen to doubt say, "You are not ready." They allow envy to poison their vision, comparing themselves to others until their own fire burns out. And day after day, they wonder why success passes them by. Success does not pass them by. They push it away with the very thoughts they allow to live inside their minds. If you would transform your life in 2026, you must guard your thoughts as a king guards his treasure. Drive out every whisper of fear. Refuse every seed of doubt. When envy rises, remind yourself that the success of another is proof that success is possible for you too. When worry tries to cloud your vision, replace it instantly with faith that your purpose is possible and worthy of you. You cannot always control what enters your mind, but you can always control what stays. Be ruthless with your inner world, for it decides the outer one. But guarding alone is not enough. Just as a garden does not thrive by removing weeds alone, your mind will not flourish unless you plant the right seeds. You must feed your mind daily with wisdom, inspiration, and ideas that lift you higher. Read books that expand your imagination. Listen to voices that ignite your courage. Surround yourself with people whose words and actions remind you of what is possible. Whatever you feed the mind, it multiplies. Feed it fear, and it will multiply excuses. Feed it faith, and it will multiply opportunities. Consider the man who spends his days filling his mind with gossip, complaints, and trivial distractions. His thoughts become shallow, his decisions weak, and his life a mirror of his careless consumption. Now consider the man who fills his mind each day with powerful ideas, who listens to teachings of wisdom, who studies the lives of great achievers, who meditates on his purpose morning and night. His mind becomes sharp, his courage steady, his decisions bold, and his life begins to reflect the greatness he has fed into himself. Do not underestimate the power of association. The voices you allow around you soon become the voices within you. If you surround yourself with people who doubt, you will soon doubt. If you walk with the fearful, you will soon fear. But if you choose companions who believe, who dream, who act boldly, then their energy will shape your own. Mastery of the mind is not only an internal discipline, but also an external choice, choosing the voices, the environment, and the influences that shape your thinking. And let me tell you, a secret mastery of the mind is not achieved in a single day. It is a lifelong discipline. Every morning you must awaken and decide what thoughts will live in you today. Every night you must examine what you allowed and what you rejected. Each day you must practice the art of replacing fear with courage, doubt with belief, envy with gratitude, and worry with faith. Over time, the mind becomes strong, unshakable, and obedient to your will. When your mind reaches this level of mastery, you will notice a change. Circumstances that once discouraged you will now inspire you. Problems that once defeated you will now challenge you to grow. People who once swayed you will no longer control you. You will stand in the middle of storms and remain calm because your inner world no longer bends to the outer one. So I say to you, if you would transform your life in 2026, begin with the mastery of your mind. For the mind is the seedbed of destiny. Guard it with vigilance, feed it with wisdom, surround it with strength, and train it daily until it obeys your purpose. When you command your mind, life itself will obey your command. My friends, purpose will give you direction, and mastery of the mind will give you power, but without discipline and daily action, both will fade into nothing. How many men have dreamed great dreams, written bold goals, even spoken words of courage, yet years later they remain in the same place? Their failure was not in vision, but in execution. Dreams without discipline are fantasies. Plans without action are illusions. The man who conquers himself with discipline and moves each day with action will always surpass the man who waits for inspiration or luck. The truth is this: success is not built in a single leap. It is built in the quiet repetition of small actions done consistently. The world glorifies the one who suddenly achieves greatness. But what it does not see are the countless days of effort, the long nights of practice, the steady, disciplined steps that prepared that man for his moment of glory. Transformation does not come from what you do occasionally, it comes from what you do daily. Discipline is the bridge between purpose and achievement. Without it, even the clearest purpose will collapse. You may decide today what you want in 2026, but if you do not rise tomorrow with discipline, your decision will soon be forgotten. You may feed your mind with wisdom, but if you lack the discipline to apply it, that wisdom becomes nothing more than wasted knowledge. Discipline is not glamorous, but it is the iron that forges greatness. And discipline begins with conquering yourself. The man who cannot command his own habits, who cannot rise when he decides, who cannot resist indulgence will never command success. Self-mastery is the first and greatest victory. To rise when your body says sleep, to work when your mind says rest, to stay focused when distractions call. These are the battles that shape your future. He who conquers himself has no enemy left to fear. Daily action is the other side of discipline. It is not enough to control yourself. You must also move yourself. Too many wait for the perfect day, the perfect time, the perfect conditions. They say, I will act when I am ready, and so they wait year after year, and their opportunity passes them by. The secret is this: readiness is not the cause of action, it is the result of action. Begin now, even if imperfect. Start where you are, with what you have, and let progress create perfection. Take one step each day toward your purpose, however small. A man who advances one step daily will cover more ground in a year than the man who leaps once in a while and then sits idle. Consistency beats intensity. Drops of water falling steadily will carve valleys into stone, while a single storm leaves no lasting change. Make your daily action as natural as breathing, as steady as the ticking of a clock. Let your habits carry you when your motivation fades, for motivation is a visitor, but discipline is a resident. Understand this: life will always test your discipline. There will be days of fatigue, days of distraction, days when everything seems against you. In those moments, weak men make excuses, but disciplined men move anyway. They know that the cost of action may be hard, but the cost of inaction is unbearable. Every day you choose discipline, you strengthen your will. Every day you surrender, you weaken it. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes, until one day nothing can break it. And remember this: discipline is not punishment. It is the highest form of self-respect. To discipline yourself is to honor your own potential, to declare that your dreams are worthy of your effort, your energy, your sacrifice. The undisciplined man lives as a slave to his moods, his weaknesses, his impulses. The disciplined man lives as a master of himself, and therefore a master of his future. So ask yourself each day, what action can I take today to move closer to my vision? Do not wait for giant leaps, take steady steps. Do not measure progress by speed, but by consistency. Do not ask for ease, ask for strength to remain disciplined when ease tempts you. Purpose without discipline is like fire without fuel. It burns bright for a moment, then dies. Discipline without action is like a blade that is never swung, sharp but useless. But when discipline and daily action unite, they become unstoppable. They transform the invisible dream into the visible reality. So if you would transform your life in 2026, embrace discipline as your closest companion and action as your daily habit. Rise each morning with decision. Work each day with focus. Rest each night with satisfaction. Let no excuse remain. Let no weakness rule you. Step by step, action by action, day by day, you will build a life that others call extraordinary, but you will call inevitable. My friends, no man ever rises to greatness alone. Every achievement you admire, every empire you see, every success story you hear has been built not by one individual in isolation, but by the power of relationships and influence. Life is a web, and every thread is a connection to another human being. If you would transform your life in 2026, you must master this law, the law of relationships and influence. Look closely at your life, and you will see that your circle is a mirror of your future. Walk with men of doubt, and you will soon doubt yourself. Spend your time with the careless, and you will soon neglect your own opportunities. Allow yourself to remain among those who accept mediocrity, and you will unconsciously lower your standards to match theirs. But surround yourself with people of vision, people who dream bigger than you, people who act boldly, and soon their fire will ignite your own. Success is contagious, but so is failure. Choose carefully what you allow to infect you. There is a saying that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Whether that number is 5 or 50, the truth remains you rise or fall to the level of your associations. If you would become stronger, wiser, wealthier, freer, then walk with those who are stronger, wiser, wealthier, and freer. Seek out those who demand more of themselves, who are building, striving, and pushing against limits, for their very presence will force you to expand. But relationships are not only about receiving, they are about giving. Influence is never built by taking. Influence is built by serving. When you make yourself valuable to others, when you contribute without counting the cost, when you lift those around you, you multiply your own worth. The man who gives ideas, encouragement, support, and solutions will never lack friends, allies, or opportunities. Generosity is the seed, and influence is the harvest. Many people make the mistake of asking, "What can this person do for me?" But the man of true vision asks, "What can I do for this person?" The one who consistently adds value soon becomes indispensable, and doors open for him that remain shut for the selfish. Service is the greatest form of strategy, for it creates bonds of trust, loyalty, and respect that no amount of money can purchase. And let me tell you this, the quality of your influence is not measured by how many people obey you, but by how many people you inspire. A boss commands through fear, a leader influences through vision. Fear may force action in the short term, but it breeds resentment in the long term. Influence built on respect, trust, and inspiration endures. The man who can inspire another to believe in himself, to act on his purpose, to rise above his limitations, that man possesses a power greater than armies. If you wish to transform your life in 2026, then ask yourself 3 questions. Who must I remove from my circle? Who must I add to my circle? And how can I serve the people in my circle? These 3 decisions will change your future more than any single choice you make this year. Remove those who poison your vision, add those who stretch your vision, and serve those who walk beside you, and watch as your life rises to a new level. Do not be afraid to let go of people who no longer align with your destiny. It is not cruelty, it is clarity. You cannot climb a mountain while carrying those who refuse to move. Let them remain where they choose, and you continue upward. At the same time, seek alliances. No empire was ever built without partnerships. No dream was ever achieved without help. Pride says, "I can do it alone." Wisdom says, "Together we go farther." Remember this, every person you meet carries within them a treasure chest of experiences, knowledge, and connections. Some will remain closed to you, but to those you serve sincerely, the chest opens, and the treasures become yours. Never underestimate the power of a single relationship. One conversation, one introduction, one partnership can accelerate your life by years. So I say to you, in 2026, become intentional about relationships. Choose your circle as carefully as you would choose your destiny, because in truth, they are the same choice. Be generous, be valuable, be inspiring, and your influence will grow beyond measure. Build alliances, nurture friendships, and never stop adding value to others. In doing so, you will discover that life itself becomes an alliance with you. The man who walks alone may move faster for a moment, but the man who walks with the right companions will move farther forever. There is a truth that separates those who merely wish from those who truly achieve, and that truth is persistence joined with faith. Without persistence, even the brightest mind and the grandest plan will wither. Without faith, even the strongest persistence will crumble under the weight of doubt. If you would transform your life in 2026, you must learn to walk with these two companions. Persistence to keep moving and faith to believe when the evidence is not yet visible. How many men begin a journey with excitement only to fall away when the road becomes steep? How many start businesses, write goals, declare dreams, but abandon them at the first sign of difficulty? The world is littered with unfinished projects and abandoned visions. But look carefully at those who rise, and you will see not brilliance alone, not luck alone, but a relentless spirit that refused to quit when the night grew dark. Success is not given to those who try once, but to those who try again and again and again until the wall that stands before them finally breaks. Persistence is not stubbornness for its own sake. Persistence is a decision, renewed daily, to move forward regardless of resistance. It is the quiet power that says, I will not stop until I win. Obstacles test not your dream, but your determination. Every difficulty is a question life asks you. Do you mean what you say? Do you believe enough to continue? And only the man who answers with action earns the reward. But persistence alone is not enough. Persistence without faith becomes drudgery. It becomes empty labor, grinding work without vision. What keeps the heart alive when the results are invisible is faith. Faith is the eye that sees beyond the immediate. Faith is the voice inside that whispers, it is possible, when the world shouts, it cannot be done. Faith is the courage to act when there is no guarantee, to plant seeds when there is no sign of rain, to walk toward a future that no one else can see but you. When persistence and faith join hands, miracles are born. History is filled with men and women who had no special advantage, no wealth, no fame, no extraordinary education, but they possessed persistence and faith, and with those two tools they carved paths that changed the world. You must understand that the difference between failure and success is often just one more attempt. Many men quit when victory was only one step away. Many let go when faith would have carried them over the final hill. The world will try to convince you to quit. The voices of doubt will tell you it is impossible. Even those closest to you may not see what you see. And in those moments, you will feel the temptation to surrender. But hear me now, the greatest treasures are hidden just beyond the point where most people give up. If you persist when others retreat, if you believe when others doubt, you will touch those treasures that the faint-hearted never find. Think of 2026 as a battlefield of decisions. Each day, you will choose whether to persist or to surrender, whether to believe or to doubt. Your destiny will not be shaped in the moments of comfort, but in the hours of testing. When nothing seems to move, when progress appears invisible, when the night is longest, what you decide in that moment will write the story of your life. So I ask you, will you be among those who quit at the sight of resistance? Or will you be among the rare few who dig deeper, who push harder, who refuse to let go of the vision they carry? The man of faith and persistence is unstoppable, for even failure becomes fuel to him. Every setback strengthens him. Every delay sharpens his patience. Every rejection deepens his resolve. And eventually the world yields to his determination. Remember this, mountains cannot withstand the rain that falls without ceasing. Walls cannot resist the hammer that strikes without stopping. The universe itself bows to the man who persists with unshakable faith. Make this your law in 2026. I will not quit, and I will not doubt. Let those words be etched in your spirit, for they are the keys to transformation. The man who persists and believes walks a path where defeat cannot last and success cannot hide. And when others ask you how you transformed your life, you will smile and say, I refuse to quit, and I refuse to stop believing. So I say to you, when 2026 tests your courage, when obstacles rise like mountains, when doubt whispers in your ear, remember this: persistence and faith are your shield and sword. With them, you are never defeated, only delayed. With them, every setback is but a stepping stone, every barrier is but a temporary wall. Refuse to quit, refuse to doubt, and life itself will yield to your determination. Stand firm, believe deeply, act relentlessly, and you will transform not only this year, but every year that follows. The world bows not to talent, not to luck, but to the man who persists with faith until victory is his. And that man, my friends, can be you.